We are on shoot today and Nikon has brought the new Nikon ZR camera. I'm really excited because I've been shooting on RED quite a fair bit. So this camera, now being a collaboration with Nikon and RED, operates more like a... Hey guys, so this is me a few days after playing around with the Nikon ZR camera. So actually it's my first time looking at the camera because I wanted to keep it pretty raw. As a first timer, you know, when you pick up the camera, right, what you are going to be experiencing around it. So hope you enjoy what I've actually experienced. Okay, right off the bat, right, from what I noticed first, it's Nikon and RED. It writes here Z Cinema. Has 3 custom buttons. 1, 2, 3 here. Some simple buttons here, quite minimalistic. Toggles are always very appreciated. Dials, okay, two dials, the usual. Recording button, we have one here, and we also do have one here also. We have one recording button here also. From what I know, from a quick download from Nikon, right, is that it does have a really large screen. It's 4 inches big, and also they quickly briefed me that it's also DCI P3 standard. So this is very, very color accurate. Actually, I say it feels quite like a smartphone screen. it's quite sizable. Okay, let's check out batteries. We do have the Nikon EN-EL15C battery, CF Express B, and so then it also takes XQD card also, and it also does take micro SD card. Cool. Apart from that, okay, check out ports wise. We do have 3.5mm jacks for microphone as well as for you to monitor your audio, headphone jack. Okay, micro HDMI ports together with a USB-C. On button is here. Let's turn the camera on. Does it hold down? Yep, hold down. Wow, power's on so fast. Okay, I mean, like, cause I'm very used to shooting with RED, right? It takes like forever to power on for the Komodo OG. So this one is really fast. Okay, let me show it to you guys. Turn on. Okay lah, either that or I mean, okay lah, fine. For fair game, right? Like most of the mirrorless cameras operate this fast nowadays. From my quick download from Nikon, right, this also shoots in R3D format, but it shoots in R3D-NE. So R3D-NE, right, is a new format developed by RED for Nikon, and it's 12-bit internal recording, all within this tiny body. Hey guys, so about the RED NE files, right, we are getting all cozy editing here. As you can see, I've input my files here. The LUT, actually, when I input my original Komodo LUTs onto the Nikon ZR RED NE files, right, it actually works out pretty well, I'd say. And personally, I like the outcome. I think it's quite hard to distinguish between the R3D and R3D-NE files. Apart from that, for the image quality wise, right, I do prefer the ZR lens when it was the ZR camera when it was on the iron glass lenses, the ones that I have, versus I felt like on the 28-135, to me I felt it was a bit too sharp. For me, I'm more towards the older, you know, like the vintage, the filmic quality look. Whereas this one, I'd say, yeah, it's crystal clear sharp. But hey, personal preference, I feel it's a bit too sharp for my liking lah. Since I was just mentioning about body, right, it's actually pretty light. And what does it weigh again? 540 grams for this. It's very light. It also does have a dual base ISO. We have it at ISO 800 and ISO 6400. And then also, right, because this camera is a collaboration between Nikon and RED, right, the shooting ways are actually quite different in terms of these two brands. The Nikon operates quite like a normal camera, whereby when it's darker, right, you will want to bump up the ISO, so like from an 800 to a 1000 ISO. But for a RED, right, when it's dark, right, what you do is you go from an ISO 800 to like an ISO 600 instead, because you want to adjust the black point lower. So we preserve the dynamic ranges more towards the lower side. So this camera, now being a collaboration with Nikon and RED, operates more like a Nikon actually. So with the double base ISO, right, this also means that it's easier for a lot of the camera operators, the newer ones also, to pick it up, because it operates pretty much like how all your normal cameras operate, whereby when you're shooting in a darker condition, you go from ISO 800, you push it up to like 1000, or you want to go to like a 1600, up to you. The good thing about dual base ISO, right, is that you get to preserve the 16 plus dynamic stops of range in both in bright conditions as well as in dark conditions. So in this case, it's ISO 800 and ISO 6400. So this camera is actually going to be pretty versatile in both light and dark situations. So one thing you want to do with the ZR to maximize the monitor brightness, right, is you want to go to settings, click menu, then go to the spanner option here, go to monitor brightness, then you can just dial it all the way up to high 2. So this is the brightest that the monitor can go. But let's say you're shooting in studio environment and you feel like, hey, it's getting a bit too glaring, right? You can actually also go below the brightness, just darker. Ta-da! I can't see anything now. Okay, honestly, I just really like the very big screen. Let's turn it on and check it out. It's oh wow, hey, you can just like zoom in like that for a quick like magnification look. Wow, cool. I should totally do this on my camera also. So for this screen, right, one thing that I like is that it's not just that it's a P3 standard, but it's also 1000 nits. So now we are shooting in direct sunlight actually, and you can still see the screen still pretty visible. So for me, that's what I always look out for a lot of the video monitors, right? Is that you want it bright enough that you can see literally. So I do like this quite a lot, and rotating also. So this means that if you want to go for any low down camera angle shots, you can just tilt it around. So this also means, right, like let's say if we are rigging this camera to a larger setup, right, you know, like having battery plates, whatnot, the whole setup, right, you can actually have this on the side, so you can still hold your handle, you can still monitor here. You're not like stuck that when you have the battery plate behind, right, then if the screen only pivots this way or like this way, then you actually lose access to this screen. So this camera also does have the cinematic mode. So what you want to do is press number 2 to go into the mode, and you have your usual PSAM modes. And on top of that, you have cinematic video and slow motion. So when you click cinematic video, right, what happens, right, is that it puts it into this mode that you can have it in shutter angle mode instead. So when you change it to slow-mo, and click slow-mo, it straight away goes into 360 degrees mode. It also does have stabilization inside this. It's called VR stabilization. And you have the option to also turn it off. So let's say if you're using this with gimbals whatsoever, right, you may not also want it to, say, for example, overcompensate too much whatsoever. So that will be a very good setting for you to turn it on and off. I always enjoy having these kind of variations in the settings that I can change around with. So apart from that, right, how about let's cover sound maybe. So over here I do see there's 2 microphone inputs. There is supposedly 4 microphone ports on this camera, and it's also able to record binaural audio. So what binaural audio means, right? Means it's like you can record audio for left to right channels. So if I'm standing here, which should be the left side of your screen, to the right side, you will actually hear the audio shift from your left earpiece to your right earpiece. Apart from that, for audio recording also, it does record in 32-bit float. So this is a pretty serious video camera here that we have. That, hey, you have a large screen, 1000 nit brightness, you have 32-bit float audio, you have 16 plus stops of dynamic range, and you can still record in R3D, which is like red code raw format. It's quite a lot of stuff packed into like just what, 540 grams? It's pretty mad. So now we are just done with our whole first look impressions of the ZR camera. And fun fact, all the while if you've seen this camera angle, right, it was all actually shot with the ZR camera. So now, this being a video camera, right, we will want to rig it up to a more video standard, I'd say. So I think right off the bat, when you want to buy the camera, right, SmallRig already does produce its cage. So let's go on and rig out the cage first. Because every video camera needs a cage. How do you get this thing in? I think like so. Oh wow, it's quite cool. Now instead of like the way that they just, because like the ZR actually does have all these camera straps. So instead of it like just screw it on directly, which is quite impossible, right? It actually does lock in at all these camera strap points instead. Wow, because like the old cages here and there, they did have the issue of the whole camera sliding like within the cage pivoting. Now this one actually, it's not going to happen because it's entirely locked down. And one thing also that I learned from the Nikon staff is that SmallRig will be coming out with a power distribution plate also that has a notch here. So this screen, when you fold it out, right, it will actually lock into place at the side. Pretty damn neat, yeah. And let's say if you don't want this handle, right, you can change it out to a microphone instead, because now Nikon also makes microphones. They're back into the game of making microphones. So right, you see here, this LED strip here, right, it's actually a tiny light. So if you press record, ta-da, you can see it turn on. And hey, wait a minute. Behind also have it now. Wow, yeah, that's cool. So at least this is like, it's both ways. Then plus on top of that, you still do have your screen tally also, because with the whole red border around. And there's still one more, the usual original teddy light also from the camera itself. So wow, if you don't know that you're recording with this camera, then nobody is going to know. Okay, so what happens when a video camera is set up into a whole video rig, right? This is how it's gonna look like. And we do have a 28-135 power zoom lens here. And then on top of that, we also do have the micro HDMI cable adapted to the full-size HDMI out to another larger monitor for people like me, because I'm kind of blind, so I need a larger screen to look at. And then we also do have V-mount power battery here. And the new small rig one, right, will also come with 2 USB-C outs, so you can actually power other accessories. And about other accessories, right, we also do have one extra mounting accessory plate here. Then we can mount extra stuff just in case we need to. And your record buttons are still over here and over here. And you're telling me, like, for this whole video camera, just for the approximate rumored price that I know of, I think it's really quite a no-brainer price to buy this at.